I started making music when I was 8 years old. I always had music around me when I was a kid growing up.
It's all about creativity. It's just a big playground, you know. We're just having a really good time.
You can reach people and inspire people and, open up people's minds into the possibilities.
I like to be proud of my own songs. I want to make good records.
I'm trying to create a certain sonic universe, creating this kind of magic.
And this is our soundtrack to creativity.
Kicking off the first of a double bill of Hot Seat interviews now with two of my favourite Essex boys of all time. You know them as Size Records' own third party. Johnny, Harry, welcome to the show, boys. How are we keeping?
Good, Dan. How are you?
Very well, thank you indeed. Now, things started off pretty hectic for you boys in 2014. How are you feeling about the way that the first quarter has played out so far?
Busy. Been a busy year. We've been mainly in the studio. We've had a lot of gigs, especially in the UK and Europe. Looking forward to Miami coming up in a couple of weeks, but mainly it's been a lot of studio work.
You are, of course, a UK outfit serving an ever-expanding international market. Has that been a relatively challenging experience for you both, given just how quickly it seems to have grown?
The only challenge is, I think, but luckily for us haven't really arisen, is crossing over to the US. I think if we weren't with Size, it would have been a lot harder to make that bridge. Mainly because I think the US has really grabbed onto a certain part of the whole EDM scene right now. But having the whole Size back in and going across and seeing how big Steve has become and Size has become in America has only had its effect on us as well. But other than that, nothing really challenging being from the UK. I think it's more of a positive because a lot of music starts in UK, London. The radio people get a lot of credit for playing the new music that then seems to be spread around the world.
Now, as part of Size Records, you are part of one big wheel that is serving the digital market incredibly well and has been for a decade now, which seems very hard to believe if you've been listening to them as long as we have. What is it about Size that has allowed it to be such a strong collective to your minds?
I think a big thing is respect. Like, everybody has a respect for each other. It doesn't matter whether you're a new guy coming in to Size or whether you're Steve.
Yeah, and also I think the fact that there's even a label doing this means that the acts on the label really want to work hard, because it happens less and less now, mainly because everyone needs to be in it for their own kind of sake now. There's not many people who have the privilege to help others. So from our point of view, Antoine, Max, Q-Lines, we just want to do not only ourselves proud, but obviously we're really working for Steve and Size, and seeing how the brand is being created and getting bigger makes us work harder.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more of a team than what you can see in some other labels.
We're at a stage where artists seem to be flocking to the scene by the masses, and imprints as a result seem to be taking a lot of safe options and really going for quantity over quality. Does this add any pressure to guys in your position?
I think one of the main things for us, we've always taken our time on tracks and looked to get it exactly how we want. And some of what you've been talking about there, a lot of these labels now are just smashing out tracks like one a week with very little filter on the quality, and that puts pressure on us, because you see, like, we're working on a track for a year and you see a guy like come up, make 10 tracks that all sound the same, and suddenly they're the ones everyone's talking about. There is definitely pressure to work faster now.
It seems that more than ever, touring and production is one of those balances that Joes such as yourself just has to get right from day one. Has this balance always been a crucial one to you guys, or is it only more recently that it's picked up?
It wasn't in the beginning, but definitely things have changed even in the last couple of years in terms of what you just said. Most money is made now via the live shows rather than releasing records. So there's obviously that big pressure from management, from agents who want to get you on the road as much as possible. I think we're lucky where we have people working with us who don't force that too much. They're happy for us if we say, look, we need a month out, we need to be in the studio, we want to make some new music, they'll happily have that. But this is the problem, it's almost becoming like how the pop scene works. You've got, younger guys, they're getting snapped up by labels, and they're being told, make as many hits as possible and then we can get you touring. So there's less emphasis on them as an artist coming out with the best creations that they can.
Word on the street is that there is new material just around the corner from you guys for the label. Talk us through the vibe you boys have been on creatively for 2014, and off the back of last year's Size studio sessions in LA, which we believe has had a pretty big impact on what you guys have been doing and what you'll be putting out in 2014.
The vibe has been great. Well, it's been a few months now. I came back from LA with the Size sessions, and listening to like Steve's album, talking to the guys, we've kind of decided we want to go down the route more of just making songs, being less directed by having to make DJ friendly tracks. So that's been the goal, and I think it's come out quite positive. We've got 6 tracks, I think, ready before Miami, and yeah, we're really excited for people to hear them because we're really gone outside the box.
I think the main focus for us on these songs was to try and do something that was not focused on fitting this mold that every single dance, EDM if you want to call it, track has to fit at the moment, where you have to know exactly when the drop is coming and someone shouts something before the drop and tells you to put your hands up or to jump or something, and to just make music that's a song that people can listen to in their car and enjoy just as much as they would in the club.
Of course, Steve just premiered a brand new cut of yours on Radio 1. We've got Winter Music Conference just around the corner, and there's talk of a few exciting summer residencies on the card for you and Size Records artists alike. Talk us through what the road to summer is looking like for you guys at the moment.
Well, leading up to Miami is all music for us. We have a couple of shows, but it's mainly about finishing this body of music we've been working on. So I think we have about 6 tracks that we want to have ready before Miami to then be released through the year. Obviously, we've started previewing 1 at the moment and hopefully another couple pretty soon. So it's literally about having that all ready to go. And then we have Miami, obviously, the Decade Party, which is going to be a big party. And then obviously straight from Miami, we move into our North American tour, which we're all very excited about over at Size, which I think is about 14 shows for us. It's been spread around the whole Size crew, but it's looking really good.
And then also we have some exciting plans for Ibiza for the summer. Hopefully we'll be releasing them soon.
You will, of course, be celebrating a decade of Size Records alongside Steve and the gang over at Winter Music Conference. So it seems only befitting to ask, what do you consider to have been the most definitive Size Records release to date, and why?
A big track that defined for me like the sound of Size recently, like over the last 3 years, was Atom. I mean, that defined almost like a whole genre for a while. And God knows there's been a million copies of it since.
Yeah, and then I would go for maybe not one of the big bangers, but it stayed with me because it was around the time we got signed to Size, and this had been out a couple of months. That was Kim Faye's PS. Mainly because it was an anchor for me more than anything.
And a sick track.
And a great track, yeah.
Johnny, Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having us over at your studio here in London, and we're wishing you all the best for 2014.
Thank you very much, Dan. Same to you.
See you in WMC.